Welcome to the post-credit show. I'm your host, Rowdy Roddy Williams, and joining me today is Macho Man Mason Brandon.
If it's your first time here, please subscribe. We want to hear from you. Let us know how we're doing. And leave some comments below. Welcome. Thank you for being with us today.
Yep.
Ronnie, how are you today?
I'm great.
You're in character today, I see.
Yeah, I just got a little excited. We're talking a wrestling movie.
We're talking wrestling movie, but I can't help but notice there's a weird heart behind us. Is that for Bret the Hitman Hart? Is that what that represents?
A little bit.
A little bit?
And the fighting with your family is also fighting with my family's full of heart. So
yes, it's a family movie.
And
definitely.
I did promise in an earlier episode we're going to talk Isn't It Romantic?
Oh, yes, that's right. We're talking about that later today.
Yes.
The romantic comedy that makes fun of the fact that it's a romantic comedy.
Yep. So good times to be had all around.
Absolutely. How's your week been so far?
Super.
Okay.
I hit my goals and
That's good. That's good. Yep. And what did you have to see both movies this week or just one? Because you had already seen Fighting with My Family, right?
Yeah, I saw Fight with My Family last weekend.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. And Fighting with My Family went nationwide on Friday. It was in select theaters or select cities, I should say.
Okay.
Before that.
So yeah.
Here in LA, we are spoiled. Like we can see those movies.
Yeah, we try to be careful. Like we wanted to cover Mary Queen of Scots way early in December, but we realized, this isn't playing anywhere. Let's do Elf instead. You know, so we're trying to be ultra cautious, making sure we're covering films that are covered by everybody.
Sorry about that.
You're good, man.
I'm having some technical difficulties today. So we're starting with Fighting with My Family.
Reviews first.
Reviews. You talk about.
So how soon should people watch Fighting with Your Family?
I think they should see it very, very soon. Absolutely. See it in the movie theaters. See it this week.
I say see it today.
See it today. This movie, I don't know if it was originally supposed to be a nationwide release. I think originally it was supposed to be just select cities. But since it's doing so well, they went ahead and released it nationwide.
Yeah, I say it's a quality mint film. It's fun, you know.
It's a great film. I would say make the argument it's the most inspiring movie of 2019.
Yep. And Isn't It Romantic? How soon should people see that one?
Yeah, I like this one. I don't know about the audience that I saw it with. I was laughing at all the jokes. I got all the jokes. But not many people are showing the love for this movie. I liked it. I think people should see it. If you like romantic comedies, this movie's for you. If you do not like romantic comedies, this movie's still for you because it pokes fun at the genre.
Yeah. So I say see it this week if you're a fan of the romantic comedy. See it this month if you like comedies in general.
Now, a challenge for you, Ronnie.
Aye.
If you can only pick one movie, Fighting with My Family or Isn't It Romantic? It's a hard choice. Which one do you pick?
Fighting with My Family really struck me.
Okay.
Like it's touching. It's like a blend of a bunch of genres I like. It's different. Like. I didn't know the history, so it was like.
So your vote goes to Fighting with My Family.
Yes.
Okay, I would agree with you on that one. Just touching upon what you said, I think both movies have various universal themes, but Fighting with My Family, I think everyone can relate to that movie in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
All right.
So let's dig in.
Let's dig in. Let's start Fighting with My Family. Where do you want to start with? The actors, the performance, the true story. A lot to talk about this movie.
True story.
All right,
What's
story.
this about?
For those who don't know, this is based off the wrestler Paige. The thing about Paige, when she came in, she comes from a family of wrestlers. So when she actually came into the WWE, she knows how to wrestle. And many of the women who are hired to wrestle in the WWE do not know how to wrestle. They are hired for their looks and solely for their looks. Paige, on the other hand, knows how to wrestle, so she can come in and actually do some great shows. She actually won the WWE Divas title her very first time.
Spoilers!
Spoiler! But this really isn't that much of a spoiler for anyone who follows the WWE. But it definitely talks about her rise on how she got to the WWE, her struggles with that. And unfortunately, for those who do not know, Paige is actually retired from the WWE due to various injuries.
Oh, okay.
I think she had some neck injuries, but I think the one that did her in was a misplaced kick in her around her back, lower back, somewhere around there. And they had to end the match immediately right then and there as a result because she required medical attention with that. So, but her time is not done in the WWE potentially. She may be doing other things like recruiting. She might come back and and host a few things.
Right. I mean, she's very popular. And even the movie said she ushered in a new era of popularity for divas.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I've not followed the WWE in quite some time. And while we're talking about the WWE, earlier when I first saw the setup, I thought this was in tribute to Bret the Hitman Hart, another wrestler that was unfortunately was done wrong by the WWE.
What happened to Bret the Hitman?
Bret the Hitman Hart, I believe he had the title. He was wrestling Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
And as Shawn Michaels went to pin him, they counted 1, 2, and Bret the Hitman Hart popped out of that. And then Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE, said, ring the bell with that. And then he said, give the title to Shawn McMahon. Both wrestlers broke character and just kind of stared at Vince McMahon like what's going on here?
This isn't part of the plan.
Definitely not part of the show. And I believe Bret Hart spit on Vince McMahon right then and there. And I think he was going to get fired later that night, or Vince was going to let him go. So it's definitely the most notorious event in the WWE as far as the wrestlers breaking character.
Okay.
Things like that. So, but folks, if you're here, chime in. Kind of looking for some. It looks like we've got a few people.
Yeah. So those of you new to the format, we love to be as interactive as possible. This show is also for you guys. You're our honorary hosts. We would love to hear your opinions on movies, and the bigger topic for Fight With Your Family, maybe inspirational films.
Yes.
Sergio chiming in. I thought Bret died in the ring.
I am not familiar with that. I am not the biggest WWE fan in the world. I was a fan way back when, but I've not been watching in a while.
So Sergio, let us know.
Sergio, look that up for us, Sergio.
Yeah, thank you.
Where to start with this movie? You want to start with the actors, the themes, or why is this movie so inspiring? Why is it so enjoyable for everybody?
I mean, it focuses on the entire family. The mom and dad, played by Nick Frost and Lena Headey, they've been wrestling forever. That's how they grew as a couple. The second generation, Paige and the son.
Her brother, played by Nick Frost.
No, Jack
Lowden. Jack Lowden.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
Zodiac. I remember his name. Zodiac.
Zach Zodiac. That's it.
Zach Zodiac.
Yeah. Zach Zodiac, that's all he wants to do
is
wrestle. And, you see the ambition and the passion in him. It's so well conveyed by that young actor. I felt like it was great having both those storylines. You have Paige, who actually did make it through the tryouts, and then, Zach Zodiac, who didn't. And it's heartbreaking. And you see, how easily he could spin out. And, that's...
He does for a little bit as well.
It seems like, yeah.
And you see Paige actually threatened to quit if they would not take her brother along with them. And then he chimes in and he says, no, you need to go. You're doing this for our family. You're doing this for everybody.
Right. And it's an interesting dynamic because Paige isn't sure if she wants it.
Yes.
But she's pressured by her family to go for it because it's a huge opportunity.
Yeah. And I like how you said pressure, because the key word in there is pressure, because she is pressured by her family. She's not 100% sure if she wants to do this. And towards the middle of the movie, she is having second thoughts. Is this for me? And she has her doubts. And earlier, she's kind of doing it for herself, but then towards the end, she's doing it for herself and her family. And I think that's really what motivated her and inspired her to keep going.
Yeah. And I was just with it the whole time. I actually kind of want to sneak to the theater again and see it. I
actually looked up on YouTube Paige's very first match just to see how accurate it was.
Yeah, how was that?
It's fairly accurate overall. In the movie, they show her as freezing up. She walks out with the microphone, and I think it was AJ Styles was the wrestler, walks out and just slaps her in the movie. That part was close to real life. The other wrestler did slap her in real life.
Okay.
With that, but I believe it was AJ Styles, the wrestler. She came out and she had the title, and it was the day after WrestleMania. She had just beaten multiple people to retain her title.
Right.
And then Paige comes out, and Paige actually did not freeze up in real life. In real life, she actually just said,
okay,
I'm here to congratulate you. And I think she kind of froze up at that point because the other wrestler was like, okay. And then she said something else derogatory to her. And then Paige says, "I'm just here to congratulate you." And then it was kind of quiet, and that's when the other wrestler slapped Paige.
Okay.
Now I will say, in the movie, the Diva Champion, like the audience was kind of cheering
Right.
her on. She did get boos in real life. So, and then when Paige came out, I don't think it was a surprise to many of the hardcore WWE fans who followed, because I think people had been watching her in the minor leagues.
Oh, okay.
They were rising
So
up.
she started getting a following.
Yeah, the people were definitely cheering for her
Okay.
when she came out. And interesting, the match in the movie is longer than the match in real life.
Oh,
believe it or
okay.
not. It's a fairly short match. The submission move is there.
Okay.
With that, and then the Page Turner is her
The
her
Page
signature
Turner.
move.
Yeah.
Which basically knocks her out, and Paige wins the championship.
Right.
With that, and in the real life match, she's just as shocked as she is in the movie. Like, she can't believe it. She's finally won it. It's very
Right.
exciting to see it. In real
Okay.
life.
That's cool, man. I love. See, it's so nice when you have a biopic that does pretty closely match.
It's
you
fairly
know?
close.
You know, like it's funny. Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like they smoothed out all conflict between the band members almost.
Well, the thing about Bohemian Rhapsody is you're taking decades of
Yeah,
work
that's true.
and putting it into a 2-hour movie. Where with this, is you're still taking several years worth of work.
Right.
Well, I would say several years, but definitely several months worth of work and putting it into a 90-minute, 2-hour movie.
Fair point. Sergio chimed in. Never mind. It was Owen Hart.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Owen Hart, I remember that now. Owen Hart died, if I'm not mistaken. He had a harness around him. He was supposed to get lowered down into the ring. And as he put the harness on, he thought everything was clamped up. It was not. And so when he stepped off the ledge, the harness wasn't on. He literally fell to his death.
Oh, and that was caught on cameras.
The camera, I think, cut away at the last second with that. But they immediately went to some of the wrestlers backstage trying to create a story for filler. And I know some of the wrestlers were definitely breaking character, crying, and getting upset about that. So that's a long, colorful history with the WWE.
Yeah. Well, I love how Nick Frost brings up the subject. It's not fake; it's fixed.
Yes.
You know, they are.
They take some serious bumps.
Yes, they are the most athletic chaps and gals out there. Gwen Williams, longtime fan, is saying, "I love The Rock, a wrestler that made it as a movie star."
So any other wrestlers that actually made it as a movie star?
Hulk Hogan?
Some have tried. I would not say Hulk Hogan actually made it.
What's that guy? Starts with a B.
Kurt Angle, and I tried.
Drax the Destroyer.
Dave
Batista.
Dave Batista.
Yeah, Dave Batista, very well acted guy.
Well, he plays a wooden character on the flip side.
Well, no, what's his other stuff? He played a Bond villain, that was his breakout role. But he had a small part in the new Blade Runner.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was pretty good.
That's one of the few movies I did not get a chance to check
Oh,
out.
dude, that
But
was a cinematic experience,
yes,
man.
I know.
But Gwen brings up a topic. How much is The Rock featured in this film? Because he's certainly on all the posters.
Of course. I think the Rock is the main point of people trying to come to see this movie. We've got to promote The Rock. The Rock plays himself, and he's in the movie for maybe 8 to 10 minutes, I'd say.
Right. Yeah. Movies do this often enough. There was a movie about airplanes that Mike Myers was all over the trailers. He was barely in that film.
Okay. Yeah. The Rock basically plays himself.
Right.
Not much of a stretch there. But we do hear some funny Rock lines that we've not heard since the 90s as well. So that was enjoyable for those who are wrestling fans.
Right.
For life, basically.
So those of you who saw, false advertising indeed, Sergio. And speaking of false advertising, for those of you who saw the little button for the show, the thumbnail, I purposely grabbed that photo because this is on the posters. And I'm showing Brandon right now. There's no dog in this movie, is there?
Yeah, there's a dog. Yes.
Where?
The dog is with the family. He's just kind of curled up, and they just look at the dog. He lifts his head and he puts his head back down.
Okay,
and that's about it.
I don't remember
Yes.
a dog whatsoever. I don't know if these were earlier posters and the dog was featured more, but the dog is in the same framing as The Rock and the girl who played Paige. And then Nick Frost and the rest of the family are in the background. But the dog is front and center.
It's an interesting. I'm like really seeing this poster for the very first time. You've got The Rock just towering over here. Your attention goes to The Rock, so you're thinking,
Yes.
it's another movie starring The Rock, which
Yeah.
it's not. And you've got Florence Pugh there, who plays Paige. Big smile on her face, looking perky and happy, but she's not a very happy individual per se in the movie because
No.
there's a lot of grit in there. She's always struggling and fighting
Right.
and wrestling.
You know, trying to find what identity she should go with, you know?
Yes.
Because they take away her name in the movie. And it's like her identity just like, what is she supposed
it's
to
like-
be?
like, who am I? Who
Because
am I
she's
supposed
so
to be?
influenced by her family, so influenced, you know, by the WWE. It's astounding.
And I would say that's probably the predominant theme in this movie is like, who are we as people? And I think that's why the movie works, is because in the movie, when she finally wins the title, she says, "I'm an outcast. I'm a freak."
Yeah.
And she said, and this is someone who's felt like she has not belonged her entire life. She doesn't fit in because she's got the black. She's not the tan blonde, blue-eyed blonde. She's got the black hair. She's got the lip piercing.
Right.
She wrestles. She's not a girly girl, so she doesn't really fit in anywhere. And wrestling is where she fits in. And I think it's an excellent theme because, first off, I think no matter who you are,
Right.
at one point, people have felt like they don't belong or they don't fit in no matter what. And I think everyone can relate to that particular theme.
And,
And I think that's why the movie has done such a great job.
right. And Florence Pugh, she is a great actress. I could see her being in tons of stuff after this
you
because she did so well.
She's the one to watch. The Entertainment Weekly critic actually said she shines. in
I
this movie.
thought Jack Lowden, like, I couldn't keep my eyes off him. Like, I thought he was Simon Pegg's son, actually. Like, he has similar facial expressions, and plus Nick Frost being in the film, because, you know, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are together so often. I thought, oh, this is, you know, Simon Pegg's son, but no, it's Jack Lowden.
Yeah, Jack London does an awesome job.
Yes.
As that he's got the especially that brooding part when he doesn't get his dream job. with
Yeah.
that, and he's really down, but then he picks himself back up.
Right.
Slowly. And it's a great character arc. For an
Yes,
actor to play.
and like there's so much heart in this film. Like
Mm-hmm.
in London, they work with kids teaching them wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and they even like incorporate a blind kid to you know
to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yep, and it worked. He
Yeah.
wanted to become a wrestler.
Gwen Williams chiming in. So as long as you get people in the seats, it's a great movie. So what's the problem?
It's a good question. The problem is some people there may be blowback. So some people are thinking this is a Rock movie. They show up and they're like, "Where's the Rock?" And
Yeah.
they could give a negative review or tell their friends, "Oh, this I don't like this movie because the Rock's not
It's
in it."
nice that the movie's so strong, though. Like, you know, getting people in the seats, yeah, you know, the blowback, so it's good word of mouth. Like, people show up for a Rock movie, they end up with a decent sports family drama comedy, you know?
But I also say it's a family movie. You could actually take your. I mean, it's a PG-13.
It's
I
got to
believe.
be PG-13.
I think it's got to be
for
PG-13,
violence.
but it's definitely a movie that you could actually take a family to see.
I definitely recommend taking the fam.
This movie I have to give a shout out to the writer director Stephen Merchant was in it.
Oh,
who was in the movie. He's actually in the movie.
I love me some Stephen Merchant.
I've seen some of his movies, but I'm not sure what he's written and directed. I've seen some of the things that he's acted in.
Right. I know he helped. What is that? He helped launch Derek, which is on Netflix right now. It's about Ricky Gervais. It's kind of a little simple, and he works in an old folks' home. Like, you watch that series on Netflix.
That sounds interesting.
I cry every time I
Okay.
go through it again.
It's not
Like,
a comedy.
There's comedic moments. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
And yeah, but they also did The Moaning of Life and An Idiot Abroad. Like, those are two reality shows where they send this miserable guy to places he doesn't want to go. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Those are also on
Right,
Netflix.
On Netflix.
And Stephen Merchant, if you want to see his acting skills, Extra. Well, also with Richie Gervais.
He's done a bunch of movies. He was in, I think it was called Table 19 with, I believe it's Anna, is it Anna Kendrick? Help me
I
out
haven't seen
here.
Table 19.
Okay, it's you're not missing a whole lot.
Oh.
Here, so.
But
but he's in that movie. He's got a quirky character. is
what
he
about
is.
his biggest movie, Logan? He played Caliban.
Okay, I did see that he was in Logan. But I
Yeah,
wasn't sure which one
he was
played.
the albino mutant,
Okay,
allergic to
all right.
sunlight.
I
Yeah,
remember that vaguely. It's
Yeah.
been a while since I've seen
like
Logan.
there's very few characters in it, and I think Steve Merchant shines.
Okay.
And yeah,
Right. Yeah, but I thought he did a great job directing and writing this. So I
Yeah.
don't know if this is like a personal story for him or if he met Paige and he just wanted to jump on board. But awesome job. We've got some comments coming in. Sergio's like, now that The Rock isn't in it, he doesn't want to watch it. Sergio, don't go there. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. You'll definitely enjoy it.
right.
And-
That's like saying I'm not going to watch Aladdin because The Rock isn't in it.
Yeah. Well, Will Smith is blue and looks a little different in there. Yep.
Here's my prediction. He's going to be blue for the first song, and then it's just going to be Will Smith for the rest of the movie.
I think he'll be. Well, we'll find out.
We'll
I
find
think
out.
he'll be blue the entire movie.
Okay.
If he's not blue the entire movie, I will not see it.
I blew myself again. Arrested
Oh my
Development.
goodness. All right, what's Gwen's chiming in there?
Gwen's saying I'm going to see the movie now because you guys convinced me it's a great movie.
I definitely agree.
Worth the trip. Brave the weather if you're in the Midwest.
Is it snowing over there again? Because it's snowing everywhere. I feel like
This winter will not end. We feel for you.
we've got a lot of rain here in LA.
Rain.
Of course, rain in LA turns
Which-
into snow elsewhere across America.
Right, and our drivers treat rain like a blizzard.
Yeah, people don't know how to drive in Los Angeles in the rain. It's very funny to get the reactions, and we're not
funny's
from
one
the
way to
West
put it.
Coast. We're not Angelinos. But some people say, "Oh, it's really coming down outside," and I said, "Yes, it is." And they're like, "Oh, it's scary. It's raining." I said, "It's rain. It's okay."
Yeah.
But people freak out in the rain out here. It's comical. It's sad, but it's comical.
Right.
Yep.
So, Gwen's saying it is negative 13 below in Iowa.
Wow, that's cold.
That is
That is
cold.
very, very cold. That's like Canada weather.
Right.
It's not far from Canada.
And a comment that we got before the show to change gears here. Bonnie said that a romantic comedy she likes is A Knight's Tale, but A Knight's Tale is also a sports movie. So sports movie, Fight with Your Family, into rom-coms.
All right, we moving on?
Forced transition
All right,
there.
Forced transition.
Isn't it romantic? The bigger topic, rom-coms that influenced Isn't It Romantic, and also your favorite romantic comedies.
We do want to hear your favorite romantic comedies. I don't know if we debated this question on camera or off camera last week.
Okay.
But help me out here. We talked about, is this movie a romantic comedy? Yeah, you told me last week it was, and I said I don't think it is.
Oh, it totally
heading
is.
into it, I said I think it's because the main character doesn't like romantic comedies, so I think
Right.
this is a movie that would not be a romantic comedy.
Oh, it hits the same beats. Like it's like a comedy that's like it's like a parody for like the first half, but the last half it's totally doing the same beats of a romantic comedy.
So for those who have not seen it yet, it's a romantic comedy that actually does poke fun at itself for being a romantic comedy.
Right.
So,
And
even if you're not a fan of romantic comedies, I still think that you can enjoy this movie because it's a little predictable, but they set the things up. But the fact that they poke fun at the genre, that they poke fun at the predictableness
Right.
of the movie, it had me laughing a lot in my seat.
And Bonnie Niederhoff's chiming in. She's really happy with this subject matter. Bonnie, I think you're the resident expert on romantic comedies. A question I had while watching the film, there's a joke where she like throws a flowers out the window and someone shouts, "Thanks!"
Thank you. I've been meaning to get
Yeah.
some orchids. Or
I'm
something
like,
like
is
that.
that in a romantic comedy that I haven't seen, or is that just a fun?
That's just a funny line. I don't know.
Right.
I'm sure it's been done somewhere in some comedy.
Right. The set dresser for this movie was having some fun. It's just like flowers
Flowers
everywhere,
everywhere.
music everywhere. You know, just like
the music was
beautiful
interesting
vignettes.
because it reminded like of like late '90s music.
Oh yeah.
Which was I kind of like the heyday for romantic comedies.
Yeah, romantic comedies has been dormant for quite some time. I think it's Crazy Rich Asians that's injected some life into the genre.
Yeah, it's definitely coming back. Also, Jennifer Lopez with Second Act as well, which did well.
But was that a rom-com?
Yes.
I thought,
it was. I haven't seen it, but it was sold as a rom-com.
I thought it was sold as straight-up comedy.
Pitched.
Okay. I mean, having the This Is Us guy in it.
Well, I think she meets this guy. I assume they fall in love at the same time. But we're getting a bunch of comments flying in here. Let's see. Gwen misses Sergio. Sergio, we miss you too. Please come back.
Yes, Sergio.
Please.
Bonnie thinks that throwing the bouquet might be the throwing out the window thing. Since rom-coms are all about getting together in weddings.
I like the fact how Rebel Wilson's character Natalie said, there's going to be some wedding in about around the 8-10 minute marker of the movie. She goes on a rant about romantic comedies,
right?
And
she goes,
there's a slow motion running. There's a wedding that they have to break up. There's the gay best friend, and she goes on and on and on, and then they have every single thing in there.
Every single thing. One of the movies I think it aped off of the most or was inspired by was My Best Friend's Wedding. If you've seen it,
I've not seen it. So I am not actually a big fan of romantic comedies. I've seen a few.
I do like them. I have to admit, I like them.
So Sergio is chiming in here. He says he actually likes Wedding Crashers. True story of Wedding Crashers was actually filmed in my backyard. I'm from the Eastern Shore of Maryland. They actually filmed some scenes of the Wedding Crashers. And I was actually supposed to be in that movie as an extra. I'm not making this up, folks. I'm not making this up. I was supposed to be in there as an extra. I was teaching at the time.
What happened?
And the superintendent of the school would not let me out to do the movie. And it sucked. It sucked. And a lot of my acting friends were in the movie as extras as well. A friend of mine was Vince Vaughn's hand double. So yeah, he was going through. So Chris, if you're watching, Chris knows that's him. There was another thing during filming. My same friend Chris got in trouble with Christopher Walken because you're not supposed to have your phones out on set, and he said he pulled his phone out of his pocket just to check the time, and Christopher Walken yelled at him. He goes, "Hey, you with the phone!" and just started yelling at me. He put his phone away, and he said, "Oh, wait a minute, Christopher Walken just yelled at me. This is awesome."
Oh, that's one way to look at it.
So yeah, true story, and I'm still a little disgruntled for not being in that movie. So
yeah.
To this day, I still have not seen it.
That's same with me. I tried out to be a baseball player for the Sean Astin baseball movie, and I still haven't seen that film.
Which movie was that? Not as well known.
Final Season.
Okay.
It's about a high school team that has had perfect seasons forever, but the school's closing down. Oh, and so it's like their final season. So Sean Astin plays a high school catcher. And this is post Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really? Is this based on a true story?
Yes.
And did he produce this movie himself or direct it?
I don't know.
It sounds like he had a personal stake in this. So we're getting a bunch of comments coming in here.
Whoa, Bonnie was an extra in Final Season.
Oh, awesome.
Holy buckets. Please tell me more as an audience member. Like in the stadium, like the baseball stadium, because I believe they filmed in the Colonel Stadium, which is a local team there.
All right.
A lot of movies coming in. Bonnie mentioned she loves Best Friend's Wedding too, and I want to dive into there a little bit because they have the gay best friend, and he's just shows up pretty much
randomly, just to move the story along.
And Sandra Bullock fakes that she's in love with him to make the best friend jealous. See, her best friend for a long time, they made a pact. They were dated, and then they said if we turn 30, we should marry each other. Well, he shows up, and she thinks she's getting the call that he's going to propose, but no, he's going to marry Cameron Diaz, a much younger, perkier woman. And so Sandra Bullock's. Not Sandra Bullock. Oh, no. It's Julia Roberts. It's Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts is like, I got to get him back. Hijinks ensue, but brings the gay best friend. The gay best friend, to embarrass Julia Roberts, he starts singing in a lobster restaurant, and it breaks out into a musical number. The song is "I Say a Little Prayer for You."
Okay.
And there's even a musical number at the top of the film.
I was thinking much like the karaoke.
Yes,
isn't it
the
romantic?
inexplicable musical number. Yes, and yeah,
Which was hilarious.
and also trying to break the wedding. Choose me, pick me. You know, cliche lines, but yes.
So we've got a lot more comments here. The Proposal, Dirty Dancing. I've not seen any of these movies. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan.
I saw The Proposal. That is Sandra Bullock and Ryan Wilson. Very cute movie. I enjoyed it. Set in Alaska mostly. Gwen Williams. I don't think Titanic is a romantic.
I would make the argument it's not. It's more of a tragedy. It's more of a Shakespearean tragedy.
I say it's an action film. It starts off. It's an action film.
I would have to disagree with you.
Original. I'm serious. Like you watch it again, and it was supposed to come out midsummer, and the poster title was like I forget it, but it was like very action bent. But then the song came out, "My Heart Will Go On," and so they pivoted, released in Christmas, and said a tragedy couldn't keep them apart became the new tagline for the film.
Which worked.
Yes, it totally worked.
It was the first movie to break Star Wars' numbers. And we've got P.S. I Love You is another romantic comedy.
P.S. I Love You will make you cry. Hilary Swank and Gerard Butler. Man, I am on top of it today.
I'm not a romantic comedy guru.
I say
this is what I say to romantic comedy is when you just start tearing this down.
Oh, how dare you!
There's a hole in his heart.
It took me
a hole in his heart.
5 minutes to make that. And I was gonna reuse
down
those.
With romantic comedies.
Those are Sergio's collectible Post-its.
I will say, is it romantic? Made me laugh. It's a funny movie. It's a
right.
funny movie.
But P.S. I Love You, I would recommend for non-rom-coms fans because it's more on the Nicholas Sparks side of.
So it'll make you cry.
It's more romance than romantic comedy. And Kathy Bates does a great performance as her mom. Great locations too. She goes to Ireland and it's just gorgeous, you know. And Gerard Butler's really good as the interest. But yeah, it's all about Hilary Swank, you know, putting her life back together and figuring out stuff for herself, much like Isn't It Romantic?
Yeah, just like I'm about to say, just like Isn't It Romantic. I love the twister. Like, this is definitely a formulaic movie, and when you get to like that Act 3 moment, that's when she realizes.
Sergio's like, "Don't waste the Post-its."
Sergio's a little upset that we've destroyed the heart.
I'm totally gonna collect the ones that are undamaged by Brandon and put them back on the pads. That was the plan.
No Post-its were hurt during the filming of today's episode.
Yeah. Okay, they're good. They're good.
We got Katherine Heigl movies as well. Kate Hudson movies.
I'm not familiar with many Kate Hudson movies. I've seen 27 Wedding Dresses with Kathleen Heigl.
She did. I couldn't tell you a single one, but I know she's done many of them.
Yeah, Kate Hudson. Another Katherine Heigl. It was like Little House on the Prairie. Love Comes Softly. She's a pilgrim, or like on the Oregon Trail, and her husband dies on the Oregon Trail, and so she's left with nothing. And so like a widower is like, "Hey, you can stay with me for the winter."
I see where this is going.
But
it's cold outside.
But they're all religious, so they have to get married if they're going to stay in the same roof. So they get married.
Okay.
And like the deal is, she teaches the daughter to read and that kind of stuff. And love does come slowly.
Slowly.
Yes.
All right, we've actually not talked. We've talked a lot about romantic comedies. We've not said one word about this Beguiling movie.
It's Beguiling.
It's Beguiling. For those who have seen it, you'll get that joke. Liam Hemsworth uses the word beguiling about 3-4 times. At one point, like there he goes again, and like Rebel Wilson, her character Natalie, draws attention to it. She goes, "You keep saying that word beguiling. What does that mean anyway?"
Yeah.
And he's kind of quiet. He doesn't really say anything about it. But why? Did you like the movie? Let's start.
Yes,
let's start with that.
I laughed out loud. The inexplicable music number, like I think they came up with the theme for the movie, the idea for it, and that the first scene they came up with was the musical number. Because it kept being like set up, and then you expect, oh, it's going to be the same pattern, and then it pivot. You know, that's my favorite kind of comedy. It's like what you expect, and then it goes over a little bit.
You know, you just said they came up with a theme of the movie at the last minute. What would you argue is the central theme?
I mean,
this movie?
It's a magical movie. Lady hits her head like many romantic comedies, and is in a different world. Where she's stuck in a rom-com, and a PG-13 one at that. So no nudity, no
Which makes
swear
it even
words.
funnier because
yes,
she tries to have a moment with Liam Hemsworth multiple times while the song Lady in Red is playing in the background, and she just can't pull it off because it's a PG-13 movie.
Right.
Yep, that part's very funny.
Yeah, she tackles him, and I love... Like, I thought this would have been a good throwaway joke. Like, she never shows up at work in the rom-com world. And that's a thing about, like, romantic comedies is, like, the work is, like, the very push-to-the-side thing.
People are billionaires, and they show up to work once a week just to check in. And,
right.
And that's that. But definitely the thing, I like the theme for, it's like loving yourself as a person.
Right.
Loving who you are, flaws and all. I thought that was the #1 theme for this movie. I thought it was a great twist towards the end, where she felt that she had to get somebody to fall in love with her, but actuality, she needs to fall in love with herself.
Right, self-worth.
Yeah,
much like Scott Pilgrim versus the world.
Is that a romantic comedy? I've not
it's
seen
a comedy with romance.
Yep. Okay, all right. But yeah, I thought that was the theme. I thought that's what worked the most with this movie because. Only when she accepts herself is when the other character, Josh, his name's Adam Devine, the actor who plays him in real life, can truly be with her.
Yes. And
what did you think about Priyanka Chopra? Her part in
this? As the model / yoga ambassador. Like, I loved...
yoga ambassador?
Yeah, because...
Namaste or something like that?
Right, yeah. I loved how Rebel Wilson just kept tearing her down in front of her face. Like, yoga is stretching. You can't be... And ambassadors are for countries. You can't be an ambassador for stretching.
That's what Ewan does or something like that. There's a lot of funny one-liners in this folks.
Rebel Wilson definitely delivers. Her physical comedy's on point. Gwen brings up a great comparison. Enchanted kind of makes fun of love stories of happy ever after. So it's making fun of like fairy tales and Disney movies. Enchanted is.
I haven't seen Enchanted.
How dare you? No, I'm kidding.
I haven't seen like kiddie movies and romantic comedies.
Yeah.
So not my genre.
What's that Oscar nominating gal? She was in Julia, Arrival, Redhead.
Oh, Amy Adams.
Amy Adams, yeah, starring Amy Adams. And James Marsden as the prince, and the prince is completely over the top. Like, I see a parallel.
Oh, wait a minute, this is Enchanted. I'm thinking of a different movie.
Ella Enchanted.
I'm thinking of a different movie, but I've not seen Enchanted. Also, have not seen it, but now I'm familiar.
Right,
She goes from like the cartoon world to the real world.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, in the cartoon world, like. The prince saves her from an ogre, and they're like, let's get married on the morrow. But yeah, like James Marsden plays this over-the-top prince. He's hilarious. And but I see the like Liam Hemsworth character kind of taking that role too. And McDreamy is also an Enchanted. The guy from Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
Isn't that show a romantic comedy? A TV show that's a romantic comedy?
Very comedic.
Who names a Dr. McDreamy anyway?
Right. But yeah, there's so many like rom-com people. Like Katherine Heigl came from that show. And Bonnie points out Heigl was also in Life as We Know It and Ugly Truth, also starring Gerard Butler.
And Katherine Heigl was definitely one of the epitomes actress to work with for romantic comedies.
Yeah, she was the hot girl for a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's lots of rumors about difficulties about working with her.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Kate Hudson apparently How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is like a quintessential rom-com, I feel. I haven't seen it as well.
So we got some comments. We're trying not to ignore anybody here.
Right.
With the comments.
I think. Oh, Gwen Williams was an extra but didn't make it in the film. And Bonnie, we're talking about the final season baseball film, and Bonnie was 2 rows away from Tom Arnold as an audience member.
All right.
Oh, Dirty Dancing. That is definitely a little bit in this movie.
Haven't seen it.
And some people sent me comments like, what movies do you think influenced this one?
I have a question for you. I felt like this movie was kind of written in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, and it just got greenlighted. It had definitely like a 90s feel to it.
I mean,
I don't know if you feel the same way. Or
that is the heyday of the rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were cranking them out because people went to see them. They're mid-budgeted, so they're
they're cheap to make.
They're cheaper to make, and you can make a decent mint off of them. But yeah, they mid-budget like in the studios, they don't want to do it. Like the indie films,
it's a little bit of a risk for the studios.
they want to do low budget, which is like one location horror films mostly, and then the studios have shifted more towards like the prestige films or the huge blockbusters.
Yeah, it's just mostly the huge blockbusters.
Yeah,
built
mostly
audiences, movies based on books.
So even comedies have kind of taken a step back.
Absolutely.
But I think with Crazy Rich Asians being so successful and hitting various groups, I think there's going to be a resurgence, and we're kind of seeing it with Isn't It Romantic?
Yes.
So maybe it did get shelved, but you have to set a romantic comedy almost in the 90s, like a more simpler time.
That is the challenge for the writer, to make a romantic comedy work in today's day and time.
Oh, and I can't believe our comments haven't brought up this rom-com, Kate and Leopold, starring Hugh Jackman and Meg Ryan.
Sorry, folks, I haven't seen it.
So I have a funny story about that.
Okay.
I went to the movie with some of my cousins, an aunt, and my mom, and we get out of that movie, and we're discussing it, as you do, and I'm like, I can't believe that's the same guy that plays Wolverine. My mom's like, no. That's not the same guy. No, like she was in complete denial.
He uses an accent, an Australian, his accent, versus Wolverine. Obviously, he's got an American accent.
Right, but he's doing a British accent.
British accent this time.
But without the sideburns and the weird hair, like I could see it. But I thought it was hilarious that she didn't recognize Hugh Jackman. Now, of course, my mom's a huge fan of Hugh Jackman. In fact, she's gonna see him perform live this year.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, because he's doing a show, or he's going on tour.
Yeah, he's doing a one-man show, doing mostly musical show tunes like Les Mis and The Greatest Showman, with a live orchestra as well. All right. I think it'll be a good show.
That sounds pretty cool.
Oh, heck yeah.
We've got another Katherine Heigl movie, Life as We Know It, Ugly Truth. Is the Ugly Truth the one where her husband's a spy or something like that?
No, I think it's Gerard.
I have seen one of them.
Gerard Butler, and like the poster is like Katherine Heigl has a heart up here, and the man has the heart down by his groin.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I vaguely remember. I
believe the premise is they're like competing like news reporters, try to cover love or advice column or something. Bonnie, maybe you could fill this in. But yeah, great conversation about rom-coms. Any last thoughts about the Isn't It Romantic?
I just want to check it out. Just check it out. I laughed. Many people did not laugh as much as I did. I don't know if people were just not getting the jokes.
I mean, I was rolling at parts. Yeah. Like there was some stuff that only I was laughing at. Like when she steps in nachos. But
I thought, I don't know why, but like when women fall down, it's considered funny. I don't get it, but they had her falling down a lot. In this movie,
getting hit by a car is a comedy classic,
Depending on how it's done.
It's also a rom-com trope that women can't walk. Like she mentioned in her tirade that women are clumsy.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then of course she falls down 3 or 4 times in this movie. And we've got another comment here. Looks like YouTube is censoring us here.
No,
So
because
we
they
have
didn't
to
like the
check
word
this out.
ugly.
Oh, okay.
Life as We Know It is about a guy and a girl who get kids because a family member passed away. Oh, yeah. I know that one with Josh Duhamel and some lady.
Sorry.
But yeah, Josh Duhamel, they're forced together because they're the godparents, even though they kind of hate each other.
Okay.
But since the couple died in an accident, they're stuck with this kid, and they're learning how to be parents and,
That sounds interesting.
patient with
that
each
does
other.
sound interesting. And then Serge's got Bridezilla on there.
I prefer Return of Bridezilla, but I don't know. I'm not sure
I
what
can't
Bridezilla.
contribute, unfortunately.
So next week's show,
Next week's a huge
movie.
All right, announce it.
We're
What are we gonna do
doing
next week, Ronnie.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
First female-led superhero movie in the Marvel
Cinematic
Cinematic Universe. Yes. So it's basically your homework for the Avengers film.
The question is, should we watch it in 4D or 3D? You know, forget 2D at this point.
I don't know. I really don't know. I might see it in Dolby. I like because they do good works with sound, but I hold off on 3D unless I know the director. I'll have to look into the director because James Cameron had a hand in Alita, so I knew the 3D would be great.
But we do have the AMC card,
Right, we can
so
watch
we
3D
can watch it in
whenever.
3D anytime we want.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that's a
It's
comedy.
supposed to be hilarious. And yet another romantic comedy I have not seen.
I saw it and I forgot it immediately. I didn't.
Oh, really?
Everybody loved that film. It wasn't for me.
Okay, because there's like Rose Byrne, Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
Was it Emily Blunt? Am I got the right one on there?
No. Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. And
yeah.
more and more actresses as well.
Right. So we're covering Captain Marvel, and I'm gonna officially announce my theory for how Avengers Endgame is gonna end. I'm gonna put it out there.
Okay.
I think it might be. I'll do it at the end of the next week's show.
All right.
But yeah, I think you're gonna. Maybe you can come up with your own theory, and we'll
Okay.
compare.
And for those who forgot, at the end of the Avengers movie, Samuel L. Jackson's character sent out like a page, a text.
Yeah, using
And
a pager.
It was the Captain Marvel symbol, and that was it. He faded away into oblivion.
Right.
So this movie is kind of like a prequel.
Right. It's set in the 90s.
Set in the 90s.
So
and,
yeah.
And introduces Captain Marvel, who I assume is going to save the Marvel universe with the next Avengers movie.
Not according to me
Okay.
and my
And
theory.
the Avengers is out in April. It's out soon.
It's pretty soon.
Yeah, I think it's a month away from Captain Marvel, a month and a half.
Yeah, they're pretty close together.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
right.
Thank you for all of you who joined us. Hopefully, we'll talk about rom-coms again.
And for those who did not join us live, we still want to hear from you. So please leave a comment
Right.
on the post, and we can feature you next week. next
Anytime
time.
you see a new or old movie, get at us on Twitter or Instagram, and we'll put it on the show.
Chime in anytime. All right, folks.
Thank you.
Have a great night.